I have put on the roamingstudio.com the supply lists for the following things. In January, I'm going to start with acrylic painting demos. All right. And then in February, I'm going to switch over to using oil. So in February and March, I'm going to switch over to using oil. You have options. You can do that with me. You can buy all your acrylic stuff and then buy paints and brushes for oil and then shift to oil. You can be in oil the whole time. They're very similar processes. I mean, the materials are different, which is why I switch from one to the other, but you are welcome. It's expensive. So, but there is a supply list and you should think about getting stuff now. I also send it to all the coordinators, so they'll be getting you information about that. So does anybody, or, you totally can stay going with pastels. You can totally use whatever material you want. In truth, you don't even have to do this demo exercise. This is just where we're moving. So for the next 5 months, from January to the end of May, we will be doing acrylic painting, then oil painting, oil and or acrylic painting in February and March. And in April and May, we'll focus on watercolor. So, and then June, we're going to go back to figure drawing for 2 months.
Yay!
And portraiture for 1 month and perspective problems for 1 month. So we're going to go back and repeat, but with different subjects. And I hope you guys will be at a higher level of drawing and painting by this point. So you will be more able to absorb some of these you'll be able to absorb these concepts on a deeper level. And remember, always the thing is not changing. And Reuters has paid for the year, so you guys are in. You may be joined by other people. There may be other companies joining along, but classes will get no bigger than 30. So yeah, just get ready to rock and roll. Does anybody have questions about that before we get started today?
I have one question.
Yes.
When we go back to figure drawing, will we can paint, right?
If you want to figure paint, absolutely. You get at some point you get to start. I mean, actually, at any point you can make decisions about how you want to work. You guys are going through the first year of this program with me. So I think now you're being exposed to every different medium and how to use them. Yeah. But if you want to paint the figure, and I might even incorporate a couple of painting sessions with the figure myself in as demos, if you're ready for it, if you feel like you're ready for it. I did not think, as beginners last year, I didn't think anybody was ready for it. But like every group kind of flexes on its own. So we kind of decide each year, each kind of year. And the point of this rotating curriculum is really to continue to reinforce a deeper understanding of all the techniques, right? Because there's so much to learn about art. There's so much to learn in the thinking process. It's so not intuitive to your normal way of thinking. This is an entire language that we're building up. Like I'm building you up brick by brick with you. So as we return to subjects, you've spent a year making the same mistakes, you're going to be like, oh, wait, I keep making the same mistakes. What's the problem here? And you'll be more ready to kind of take in the concept of, say, perspective in your problem, or the concept of, right? So, or I'm always having trouble with this layer. Okay, so what's going on here? It's because I'm not thinking like a drawer or a painter. I'm thinking like a writer or a speaker. So, that's the plan. I'm really excited. I'm very excited for you guys. So let's get started. I'm going to start by doing a toned paper. Here, I'll spotlight this. So this particular color is black because that's all I've got, Sandra. I got sent it but it could be any color. Okay. And the very beginning in toning, I want you not thinking about the layers, what's on top, what's on the bottom. I want you more thinking, oh, if I were to just put any color I wanted to, and they don't even match whatever, I'm just grabbing without even thinking about it, and I'm covering up, because this is going to create a kind of maybe a darkish, muddy color when we get finished with it. the point is to get a base that's got some depth and texture, and that you're being kind of random about it, because every one of these looks different. You'll see. I have like this one that I'm actually working on. I always have one ready. And now I would either take my alcohol at this point and spray it, or I'm going to try spray fixing today. Notice with the black, it kind of darkens for a bit when it gets darker. As it gets light, it will lighten up a bit. And now I'm going to put that on the floor. It's over there on the floor. Wait, you can kind of see it. That's going to go on the floor and dry while you guys can put yours on the floor and dry while we work on the lesson. Now we're going to ultimately look at this one. This is totally different. This is kind of a yellow. So this question you were asking about color standard, it's with toning, it's not really, the more color, the better.
Okay.
Because all colors are going to come into play. After that, we start talking about layering, right? So on top of this, we start talking about layering, like what do you put underneath? Where are we putting? All right, so I'll put this down here. For those of you who are drawing, or actually everybody's going to be drawing. So whatever material you're working in, you're going to be drawing. As a reminder, if anybody here is working in pencil and you do not have a ruler, I'm going to grid this thing. But if you don't have a ruler, you're going to take a blank sheet of paper and you're going to fold it 1, 2, 3, 4 times, so that in half, so that when I open it, it comes out to 16 equal rectangles, right? Like this. And I might even take my pencil and a ruler or a straight edge and draw in these. But for those of you who have a ruler, and if you're going to be doing this lesson in pastel, you can't fold your pastel paper like that. It just won't go. So you, with a light pastel on your blank sheet of paper, are going to be doing what I do with this ruler. I've got a ruler that has both inches and inches and centimeters. So I'm going to start with the centimeter edge on this long edge here of the paper, because this is 28 centimeters across. So as I line up with the 1 here and the 28 here, I'm going to mark the halfway point of the edge of my paper. So you will do this with pastel. And then what's half of 14?
7.
Right. And what's 14 plus 7?
21.
Right. So I'm going to mark those edges too. Now I have my halfway point. Yep. This is divided into 4 equal quarters, my halfway point of the paper and then the halfway of each halfway. And I'm going to do the same thing at the top. And as I have said many times, I know this is a little bit on the tedious side, but it's also a really great way to unwind and relax. It's a procedure. It involves using a tool. It involves some precision. So it helps kind of focus. And then of course I line these 2 up and I draw my line, cross and in. Don't use pencil if you're working with pastels. Your pencil is going to kind of react in a funny way to the pastel. You want to use a light and don't use a dark pastel, because you will not be able to get rid of those lines. You want to use a light pastel, which will kind of rub out. And then we're going to do the same thing on this side. And I'm going to move from using, you can totally switch back and forth between inches and centimeters. Kind of depends on what's the easiest thing to break in half. This is an A4 piece of US sort of printer paper. So 8.5 inches is the full point, which means 4.25 is the halfway point, and half of 4.25 is 2.75. So those just have, no, 1.75, no, 2.2, sorry.
Yeah.
2.2. I'm thinking about my other measurements for the other side. I have these kind of memorized now. All right. And then down here too, 2.2. And it's the same on the other side. By the way, how's everybody feeling today?
Good.
Good.
I'm very happy. I'm very happy to see Sandra.
Yeah, we are all very. We're thinking
yes.
about you a lot, Sandra. We are
Yes.
really worried about you. So it's
Thank
good
you.
when we can see you. It makes us feel better. All right, and then of course we're running. So notice at the how are you feeling at the beginning of class? I'm going to ask you halfway through. Then I'm going to ask you a couple of questions at the end of classes. Wait a minute, that's not right. Is that right? 2.2. Oh, it is. Huh, interesting. Oh,
So
this is
Leah,
it, right.
now we'll have a class on both Christmas Day and New Year's Day because they have moved to Friday.
Oh,
no?
that's right. We'll talk about that.
Okay.
We'll talk
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
Christmas Eve, I know New Year's Eve is one thing, but Christmas Eve, we'll talk about that as we go through class. We'll do that.
It's a different year.
Well, Diana's like, I don't care. I'm just going to be here.
Yeah.
My husband's doing something. My husband's doing something. I don't know what. And then I'm going to sketch out your first shapes. Actually, let me try doing this. By the way, how's the lighting, you guys? Is it better? I've worked quite a lot. I don't know if
It's
you've
great.
noticed. I've worked on it. So right now I'll show you at some point. I had to get 3 different lights with different bulbs. And then I had to get white, white boards that I put everywhere. And the lights are all directed towards the whiteboards. They are not directed towards this at all. And then I have to turn off the lights, the main studio lights. I had to do it was a lot of experimenting before I figured this out.
Sounds very professional.
Thank you. Well, I want you guys to be able to see as best as you can. All right. So notice how I'm blocking off these pieces. I'm about to take a picture of this so that you've all got it. So those of you with pastels are going to do, and who are not using the sanded paper are going to obviously start the sketch with pastels. Those of you, here, hold on. Let me move this for a second so I can really, what's going on here? Hey. Yes. Check my other camera. Okay, something is, no, I don't want to use night mode. Nope, no, I don't want to use it. Something is going. Okay, that's weird. You guys, I'm having a problem with my camera. Here, I'm going to try restarting my phone for a second. I have been knocking my poor phone around. It may be time to get a new one. Sorry, I'll put this here.
In a couple of weeks.
What?
It's Christmas in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, there you go. Not so handy for us Jews, but for getting presents.
Happy Hanukkah.
Thank you.
Exactly. Happy Hanukkah.
Is your boyfriend Jewish too?
He isn't, but like he doesn't really celebrate Christmas. So we celebrate Hanukkah, but you know, it's mostly just lights and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'll tell him. All right, I'll tell him.
Present.
Diana, the strategy thinker. I like it. All right, let's see what's happening here. Oh. Okay, guys, I got some bad news for you, which is something. Wait, what's going on here? No. Something is wrong with my camera. I can't seem to take pictures. So I'm going to have you, if you're wanting to, I'm going to put this up close so that you can really see it. Can those of you take a picture with it?
Yep.
Do it now, because there's something wrong with my camera. I don't know what happened. Wasn't doing this yesterday. Okay, so that you've got it. I want you to have it because I'm going to move it off to the side while I work on my drawing. It may be a little bit hard to see everything. And then, of course, wow, really are, huh. How interesting. Use night mode. Thank you, Anik. All right. And then there's a couple of other areas we'll outline. You can use as much or as little detail as you want here in these mountains. Notice how simply I'm lining up these pieces. I'm not getting into any detail yet. In the sky, I'm not getting into any detail. Why am I not getting into any detail? Because we're going to be working on this figure first before we do anything else. And this is a very small drawing. So it's important to recognize that like we may not have that in a small drawing. There's not really that much room for so much subject matter, right? There's so much room. All right. So if you are using the sanded paper and you're going to use this technique, I want you to, let's see if I can get you closer here. You know, you're not going to be able to see the source while I'm working, but you can see it from your thing. I want you to, I'm noticing, for example, before I start drawing, I want you to use a marker or ink. So I noticed that this guy is a little bit more than halfway. So before I start drawing, he's kind of halfway, he's in this last quarter. Look, he's in this quarter of the photo, and then sticking out a little bit. So I can sketch out, let's see, he's probably about the halfway, a little bit higher. Yep, so he's like here and in here. Yep. So he's kind of here, mostly. So even though and actually he's probably a little bit further because my paper isn't exactly the same size as this. So as I start to sketch, whoops, notice I went to, I'm starting with the kind of base of his head. And then I'm going to sketch in the outer shape, this kind of circular boxy shape of his antlers. So before I get to anything in particular here, yep. And notice I'm also sketching the shape of both the legs before I try to get in the other leg. So we're getting in. So in all, what am I doing here? Anybody know? Why am I doing this way? What's the point?
Dark and
What's that?
Getting the shapes in place.
Yeah, I'm kind of getting the bigger
proportion.
envelopes of shape in place before I try, right? So I know. And then there's a couple of things I can check here, right? I can check to see, for example, I can take the head shape here. This is good to see. I can take my head shape and see, oh, how many heads is it from here to here, and make sure I have these in the right place. It's about 1. So now I'm coming here. Okay, that's good. I can check my head shape again and see how wide across. And I can see that like these legs are less than 1 head shape across. I want to see how many head shapes. It's about 1.5 head shapes in between the legs, the 2 legs. So I'm checking, and notice this one's straight, but these are at an angle. This is kind of a long extended. So I'm checking a bunch of, I'm going to check here too. I'm going to see, do I have his head at the right place? So how long? He's one from his ear, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Uh-oh, I don't have him long enough. I may have to extend him a little bit longer than his. Yep, I'm totally going to have to do that. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And notice how I've made that mistake with my pen, but I'm not worried about it. Am I worried? Do I seem worried at all? I'm not worried at all. And then I'm going to sketch in just so I can put this guy in place. The front horizon and this back horizon. And then up here, the sort of upper mountain range. I like how his or her, I don't know if this is a boy or a girl, antelope, or sorry, reindeer.
Isn't it for males who've got the horns?
I don't have any idea. I would like to say I know the answer to that question, but I don't know.
Rather male, I think.
Yeah.
I grew up in the forest, so.
You did?
Yeah. Though we didn't have reindeers.
Yeah.
Where
did you grow up? What forest did you grow up in?
Northern Poland.
Wow.
wow.
Magic land. That's like fairyland.
Now it's way better. When I was a child, there was mostly military zone. So
Oh, really?
Soviet soldiers and
Right.
then NATO soldiers.
Well, that
But
does
quite
not
a lot of
surprise me.
Well, quite a lot of, wild boars and stuff like that. Now we have wolves, actually quite a big
Oh,
pack.
great.
Wow.
And European bison.
Huh.
Yes, I saw how they're recovering. Scientists said they're recovering.
Yeah, and they're also quite big, 2 huge herds, actually over 100 cows.
That's fantastic, because they were decimated during World War I when people ate them.
Right, when people were starving. World War I and probably World War II in Poland.
And actually 50s in Poland, when communist, like kind of, the party.
Oh, Poland, you have had such a rough time.
Yeah, they like to hunt them.
Right.
Oh.
The problem is Poland has, people have been trying, everybody loves Poland. Everybody wants Poland, but without Polish people on it. Yeah, I just think people want it, right? Like, so it's like, it's a very desired. Now check this out. If someone can take it, I'll hold it up. Here are the second layers. It's these purple. Can somebody take a picture of this and send it?
You want me to then send them to the group? These pictures?
Yeah, would you? That would be really helpful, because I can't. I guess I got to get a new phone.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you. So notice we've got these basic, what am I doing here, by the way, everybody? Just since we're talking about language, what am I doing here?
Oh, okay, somebody's done it already.
Marking the shapes.
Yeah, which shapes?
The shades and
the dark and light shapes, right? We're getting the outline of the dark and light shapes. So I'm still not, so I can't tell you guys how many of you, I see you trying to draw the face right now. This is not the time to draw the face. The face comes after I get the major dark and light shapes. So there's a couple of things that are important to pay attention to. And one of those is negative space, right? So when I'm drawing in the shape of the legs, I'm paying attention not just to each leg, but I'm also paying attention to the shape between the legs, right? That also has to look the same. We get very focused. It's a very left brain thing to get very focused on what you're doing and not pay attention to the shapes around each shape. Right? So that's what we're trying to avoid here as we come in. So this is that kind of white fur area. So now the shape is of the face is coming out a little bit more, but I'm still not really focused on that. I'm focused on the bigger shapes first. So the left brain tendency is to go right into drawing the face and not even seeing the sides of the face, right, at this point. So if you are thinking about drawing that face right now, back off it. Right now. Do not draw that face or you're in trouble. I don't know. Like you're missing the point of drawing. You're missing the whole.
No, because you will come and scold us in person.
I will come and scold you in person. Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah, it would be fun.
It would be fun. Sandra, Diana knows because I've been there to scold in person, right, Diana?
Yeah.
Yeah. We started out doing back when everybody was in offices. We started out doing and so this is the light shape. There's this kind of area here with a rib cage area. Can you see that? It's kind of like it's got some lines there. And then this extends out to here. Then I'm dealing with this leg I'm kind of ignoring that because that's the wrong line. And from here, this front leg extends out. What else do we know about like legs? Okay, right. So that
they fold the wrong way.
Well, more like if the one in front is going to be bigger. I'm going to have to clean this up. There's a lot of mess going on back here, but I'm going to have to clean this up afterwards, but I will when I do my work. So this is the next stage. Oh yeah, I guess we can also start to sketch out. See how I'm using the edge of my marker and the edge of my border to help me get things in the right direction.
Oh.
Nice. If I want to, I can also go in and
Mm.
add these sort of lights and darks of the mountains if I wanted to. I've kind of made my mountains a little bit simpler. Notice where the lights are in the mountains. They're on the top and sort of the direction that the light is coming from. There's kind of a nice light here. So wherever I am, in whatever subject I'm working, I am always looking for strong light-dark contrasts. I'm always looking for that. I'm always looking for areas where there are shapes that are dark and shapes that are light. I'm adding this texture because this is kind of a darker area. Because those are the areas I'm going to start with. And I'm still going to be correcting here. Remember that the ear on this side is going to be bigger than the ear on this side. You're barely going to be able to see it. And then there's a couple of, let's see if I can get in here and get these. This color will work. And you may at some point want to return to the color version. All right, I'm going to hold this up really close. Can somebody photograph it and put it into the chat? This is where the eye, the light part of the face, this is where this all comes in. It's yellow. Somebody got it? Thank you. So of course, now once I've got this part in, now of course it's becoming tough to. What direction is the light coming from, by the way?
From the right,
Yep. How can you tell?
because it's underneath is very light.
Yes.
Underneath his face.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the
And
top of his
also this direction,
muzzle.
really this direction, right? So we know
Right.
wherever the lightest part is where the sun is hitting the most dramatically. We can also see it in other things. We can see it here. We can see that this side of the mountain is lighter.
Yes, absolutely.
Right?
It's easier to
This
tell.
side of the light here is like, you can really see which direction. If the light was coming from the other direction, these wouldn't be here. They'd be on this. This would be light and this side would be dark. So it's interesting to note that we know this without really knowing this. And sorry, I have not been looking at the WhatsApp thread, but I will go here. Thank you so much, guys, for helping.
Back is mine. Oh, you see.
Thank you. Thank you. So here's kind of where we are when we're going to start. And then let me find the actual source and send it across again, just so we have it close to us. I'm probably, by the way, going to have to rename this.
I can send the source for you.
I've got it. We got it.
Oh, okay.
It's there. So as usual, I'm going to give you guys leeway. You can use the colors that are here, or you can use the colors. You can make this any color that you want. I'll see if I can do like the colors that are here. Yeah, interesting. All this light here. As usual, I'm going to start when I start to color in. Oh yeah, and before we start, I'd like you guys to give me a dark on the side. So I'll demonstrate this here. I want you to show me before you begin at least 3 darks, medium. I don't know if that's a good medium, and light. I want to see 3 colors that when they're next to each other represent dark, medium, and light. Yeah, I think that works. Here, I'll take a picture of this. Oh, I can't take a picture of this. I will hold it up so you guys can see. Oh, that's really frustrating.
Have you restarting your phone?
Yep. I think it's just old and been bashed around. It's been bashed.
Apple knows it's Christmas coming up.
Right?
Sorry, Leah, colors that we are planning to use?
Yep. I want to see the colors that you're planning to use. I want to see a light, a medium, and a dark next to each other. And I want them to, so I want you to take a picture. So do a test here, showing me at least 1 light, medium, and dark.
It's sitting on my drawing.
Can you see the difference? This is dark, this is a medium, and this is a light. So I want to see them as on a test on the side of your paper before you start working. So I'm going to take a few minutes to have you guys take pictures.
Move along.
Yeah, Anya, I think that works. And of course, you'll use other colors.
Can I just say hello, Linda? Missed you.
Hi, Linda.
Yeah, so happy to
Where
join
have you
us finally.
been?
Well, mainly, on Thursdays I couldn't take part, and now that it has been moved, actually for me,
Oh,
it's better.
that's great. That's great.
Yeah, I'm happy about it.
You should have told us if I had known. Well, anyway, it's all good. So we'll try to stick with Thursdays. I may have to let's see.
With
Oh,
Thursdays
cool,
or Fridays?
Claudia. Great, Claudia. Wonderful value differentiation. I love that. Oh, this is going to be fun. Now, this doesn't mean you can't use other colors. I'm just getting you guys to think about value with your colors before you get started. So that is important. And value is relative. It's not like the white is always, I can't see. There we go. Needy, I can't see your, what is this, a picture of your colors? Or is this just your sheet? I can't see them. You're gonna have to give me little strips like everybody else is doing. 1, 2, 3. Annika, your dark and your medium are too similar. So darken your dark a little bit. You can lay another color over it if you need to. Rashmi, your dark and your medium are completely the same. Really, that light should be your dark, a medium. That light should be your medium, and one of those two should be your dark, and then find a lighter one.
Okay.
Olga, same for you. Dark and the medium are virtually the same. You know how you can tell? Turn your picture into a black and white, and you'll see that there's almost no distinction between your dark and your medium. Let's see. Annika. Better. Yep, that'll work. That'll work, Annika. Yeah, but the real test. Okay, Linda. These, your medium and your light are exactly the same. So you're exactly the same. So your dark's good, your medium's good. You need a different light. Your light needs to look way lighter than this. Okay. Needy, which one is your dark?
The blue with the maroon or red shade.
Okay. So your blue, I want you to turn this into a black and white, and you're going to immediately see the problem. Turn this into a black. Can you do that on your phone? Just turn it into a black and white. Look, and you'll see the problem. What's the problem? Oh, nice, Diana. Coming along.
Yeah, I just made the sketch now while you were demonstrating. So.
Nice, very nice. You're fast. Natalia, I would avoid using black. Well, I guess use black if you want to. That works. That works for me.
It's
Yep,
blue.
I like it.
It's dark blue.
Oh, it's dark blue. Do it.
Just yeah.
Do it. Dark, medium, much better, Rashmi. Much better. Excellent. I love people
I checked
who label.
it in black and white.
Right. So
I checked it in black and white. It's working.
I like it. It works. Yes, right. It's totally is working. Sandra, look at your, if you look at this picture in black and white, you may struggle to see the medium. The medium
I
might
need
be
a lighter
little
medium.
darker. Yeah, you might need a lighter medium. A slightly lighter medium, but of course that then affects. This is why it's
for the animal, right?
Yeah. We're just working on the animal right now. We're just working on the animal, and of course you're going to bring in other colors, but I want you and when you find your colors, put them in a little spot. I have this little like container here where I put my colors because then I forget which ones I'm using. I'm like. And if you think that doesn't happen, oh my God, it totally happens. Here, let's put this here. Notice how the animal is kind of interacting. Oh, and look at this. This is totally cool. Look at this. Oh, shoot. Damn it.
Really?
Hi, sorry. Hold on. I'm back. Yes. Look at this. Look at this as it dries. So what's really nice about this base is it's dry and I can dry and no pastel is going to brush off.
I think it's finished.
Yeah, it's finished, right?
Yeah, I like
$1,000. I like the turpentine because it makes things softer and more squishy, but it was just taking too long to dry. Okay.
Leah?
Yes.
Is there anywhere you can put on your screen the gridded one?
It's in there. It should be in the chat.
I know, but me and Oscar are at different stages, so
as you can see, it is kind of difficult for me to get, right, both of them in. I'll try, but it's a little difficult for me to fit them both in because this is a horizontal piece. I can try, but let's see. Oh, it wasn't that difficult. Listen to me all like, it's so difficult. It's not really that difficult. All right. There you go.
So do you want us to start putting the pastel on or not yet?
Not until I approve your color, not until I approve your color choices. So let's see. Hold on. Okay, so
I retried with my light again.
let's
yeah.
see. I'm looking. Okay, so Olga, that's better. Needy, yeah, problematic, right? Your dark, your medium, well, let's see, dark, medium, and light. What colors are those, Needy? Can you send me in? Oh, I see. Can you send them in? Yeah, Sandra, that's good. Can you send me the color version now?
Sorry,
That
I
looks
didn't get
good.
you.
That looks good, Needy. That looks really good. You're good. Good. Good job, guys. Anybody else need to be approved? You can get going.
Me, Linda.
Linda, let's see, where is your, why am I not seeing it? Ah,
Okay.
So Linda, I think the problem I'm having is that you're working on a pastel paper. Did you come in a little bit late to class?
Yeah, I mean.
Okay, so you need to come in, you need to go back a step and do this with your paper. I'm going to show you, you need to go back a step with your paper. Do you have fixative?
Yes, I do.
All right, so you're going to go back and put layers of different colored pastels. This is why it's important to be here in time, because we had a whole step.
I know, but I found traffic jams, so it was really hard for me to get
I
here
got you.
on
I
time.
got you. So now I'm here. I got it. I'm not yelling at you. I'm just saying that there's a whole step you missed. So you need to take several different colors on your paper, spread them across with your hand like this, and then I want you to fix it. So before you get started with your drawing, you're going to have a base that looks like this. It'll take a few minutes to dry, so I want you to back up a step.
Hey guys,
I want you to
that's
create this. I want you to create this and then let it dry. Should take about 5 minutes or so.
Just with the fixative, yeah?
Yeah, with the fixative and several different colors of pastels, so that you're not starting with your paper with this flat base color. Anik, that looks pretty good. We'll see what happens. I'm not sure about your light, Anik. Take a picture of it in black and white, and I think you'll see.
Okay, I'll try.
Yeah, try. I think the light is too much like the medium.
I'm wondering. Because
Oh,
actually,
great. Emma, I think you'll see that your dark is not dark enough. They're almost, the dark and the medium are not the same. Take a picture in black and white. Better, Sandra. Good. So go ahead and get started. So,
okay.
And I will too. I'll get started in a minute. This is an important step, and it's not easy for everybody. For some people, it's really natural to equate color to value. Other people struggle with this. So if you're one of those people that struggles, that's okay. Actually, even I struggle with it, and I'm pretty good with color. So this is a good beginning exercise to help you get kind of nuanced to what you need to do.
Good away. Sorry, the cats are all over me.
Of course they are, because you're perky and happy. They want to be all over you. They want to be all over mommy.
I think they want to be all over the garden, but Lion escapes. So.
Well, of course they want to be all over the garden, that too.
On my worst day, he escaped and made me an hour late for chemo and led me on a chase up ladders and jumping over fences on a day that I could barely breathe.
Oh my God, you little
And after
shithead.
an hour, I couldn't catch him and I sat down and cried, and he looked suddenly completely surprised and made his way back into the garden himself. I think he thought I was playing with him.
Oh my God. little shithead.
But
They are
still
little
wants to.
shitheads. They're little,
Yeah,
they're
he's
little
just,
adolescents. Oh my God. And you were totally right, by the way, Hermes. And I am now starting, because I've got my darks pretty well established with my dark areas. I'm going to go in and start layering in color in my darkest areas. I almost always start with the dark areas, and that is because that's for a couple of reasons, no matter what medium I'm using. And that is because I want my dark to be my baseline to make sure that when I lay other colors down, they are lighter. So this is as dark as it gets, right? I'm going in and notice how I'm kind of moving around. And I'm doing a little correcting here. I'm moving a little bit around. The animal. This is kind of a dark medium. So I'm laying a little bit of color down, but not as much. It definitely gets lighter up here and more medium up here. So I'm going to stop. And then I'm going into the face and I'm noticing where the darkest areas are. I may have to at some point return. Oh, of course, my antlers are very dark with a light edge. I may have to return to my color photo, which you guys have in the thread, because it's a little tough to see. So you see how I'm moving around. So that's another thing that's very right brain versus left brain. The left brain wants to focus in on one area until you get it perfect. That is not the way to construct a drawing. That is so whenever I can find it, I'm going to sort of tell you guys as we go through. Now you have some experience with drawing and you can see the problems. It becomes problematic when you're constructing to stay with one area, to think about the face, to think about the eyes, to think about the legs. This is not good drawing etiquette. Good drawing etiquette, good drawing like practice. Good drawing practice isn't really thinking about what you're drawing at this point. You're more looking at the dark and light shapes, and that's all you're really concentrated on, right? That's like the concentration. And I'm going to add in here now my light. And I'm going to be blending some colors and adding some more colors in over. Absolutely. But right now, I'm just kind of trying to get a base color layer in. Little poof here, little poof down here, little poof up here, a little poof on the edge of his mouth, and then a poof up here. And then I'm going to go in with the medium and kind of lay that in.
I have a question.
Yes.
I don't know if it makes sense, but say, could I possibly, I don't know, if the darkest color I picked, would it be okay if I put it on like the entire reindeer?
With pastel, that can be problematic.
Problematic. Okay.
Yes, because some, as you know, some pastels, if you mix them with dark, they get too dark. So if you put dark here, you're going to have a problem getting this as light as you want to.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Same with watercolor. In fact, in general, Natalia, it's not really a great practice to work that way. I understand what you're doing, but you want to try and identify pretty quickly what are the lights, the mediums, and the darks, right? In your base drawing. So that's what we're doing. We're kind of identifying our lights and our medium, and from the beginning, we're trying to sort of spell them out a little bit. Does that make sense?
Yes, I don't know. I was just thinking about what you said about the layers and how you put, something a bit, at least a bit darker, I guess. I mean, I guess my question is also maybe not the darkest, but something, if I have the base, I don't need to, or should I still add something a bit darker?
With pastel, you're gonna have to test it first to make sure that your lights will show up on top.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
With paint, your base will always be a little bit darker. Like actually, this light is a little bit darker than it needs to be,
No.
but I know I'll be able to layer a light on top, right? Like this,
Okay.
right? When we get to paint, your paint is going to be a lot more fluid and flexible. So we will talk about that concept of layering, like, right? Like, how does it look? What does it look like? Now notice, but for pastel, you have to be more careful because a dark color can overwhelm a lighter color if it's not, you know, on the top layers. So if it's not done well. And also, yeah, I'm like kind of coming in here and adding in this light because there's this kind of little light glow.
Leah?
Yeah.
Does the drawing have to be with a marker?
For this particular technique, yeah. For this particular technique, if you find you don't like this technique, Sandra, then you don't have to do it. But yes, for the sake of the technique.
Because I thought it worked okay with fruit to have those black outlines, but
I think I want you to practice this idea. If you decide it doesn't work for you later, then you totally have carte blanche to stop it. And of course, you never have to do anything I tell you. How's that? But you might notice that if you don't do what I tell you, you're going to have kind of strange, varied results. Now, I have a big mess back here where my legs are, so I'm trying to straighten that out right now so that you can
Leah,
notice.
I'll have to leave the call. I have some urgent work that's come up.
Oh no.
I'll see the recording from here on.
Okay, Rashmi, we
see you
love
guys next week.
We'll see you next
same
week.
here.
bye,
Love you all.
Rashmi.
Bye, sweetie.
Bye, Sandra. Bye, everyone. Take care.
And so I had my leg kind of way extended out further. So notice I'm using a background color to kind of, I may change this color later, but I'm using a color that's very opposite my other colors to try and get these shapes in. This back leg is way more straight at the base. It's turned here and I had it jutting out like too far. I don't know if you can see the original. So yeah, I want you to practice seeing what these lines do. It's all for the technique. And notice I'm layering kind of more colors. So once I get kind of all the basic colors in, I can see it's sort of darker here, lighter here. Then I start to pay attention to edges. So in this particular, people ask me all the time, how do you do fur? One of the things you really want to think about is where a dark area meets a light area. That is like the area where you get the most looks, right? So you want to work these areas first. And fur is always what we would call a soft edge. So what's the difference between a soft and a hard edge? This line, this dark line, here, I'll even redraw it in here so you can really see it. This marker line is a hard edge and it does not look right here, right? We don't see this hard edge here. A hard edge looks better maybe up here. Let me lay this down so you can see, right? My hard edge looks better here where my mountain stops and my sky begins, right? So that is going to be what we would call a hard edge. There is a hard stop between this and this line. But most fur and a lot of other things have what we call soft edges. So what's a soft edge? A soft edge is a blend. It's kind of where I work in one color into another. And I'm really focusing on not every hair, but where are the hairs coming up? Where are they meeting? Where are the light and dark hairs meeting? Can you see that? So I'm really just working. I'm using like the edge of my pastel. I'm sorry, I cannot get a picture to you guys of this. I'll do it later. You'll really get to see it. But you see how I'm getting rid of this hard line that I had drawn in. So when I'm paying attention to fur edges and creating, this is a blended edge, and we're going to spend a lot of time working. So you see the difference between this and this? There's a big difference, right? Big difference between this and that. So we are going to spend a lot of our time in painting working on how to do this with the brush. It's a little bit easier with pastel because we use it like we do a pencil, but we're going to be spending a lot of time practicing blending. So everywhere light meets dark, I'm bringing one edge in. I'm making it a little bit raggedy, right? I'm not focusing on trying to draw every hair. I'll go crazy trying to do that. I can really see that I need to get in something here so that I can see my whites. So I'm going to go in with, I don't know, kind of a darkish. Oh, that's red. I was planning to do purple here. Hold on. I'm going in here with kind of a darkish edge here. So you see, as I'm working around my animal, I'm looking at like where, oh, that might be a little too dark. That I can layer lighter. I'm looking at my animal. I'm thinking to myself, yeah, there we go. Nice medium. I'm looking at every edge. I'm looking at where the edge of the animal meets the edge of another surface. I'm looking at where a light edges meet dark edges, right? And I'm kind of moving around and going, okay, if I want to see this, really see this, and there's fur here, but I'm not obsessing about one particular area. And I'm also letting in some places, my marker can be my strength, right? There's a kind of strength I may decide I want to keep, but I can also cover it up. See, Sandra? So you don't have to worry.
Yeah,
I can cover this up.
I was wondering, since you're covering it up.
You can cover most of it up, but just because you're covering it up doesn't mean we don't feel it or see it.
But
it's still there.
But why do we need it?
Why? Because you need structure. You need a different kind of mark making.
You mean
give texture and depth.
What do you fancy having?
And you want to not be focusing on it. If you did one of your cats in a marker, Sandra, I think you would find that you would have to do a lot less work on defining the skin and the hair and all of that. I think you would just find that the markers would give you a certain strength that you're kind of lacking in, that you have to really fight to get. You're not lacking. Your pieces are perfect, but I can see that you're fighting, right?
I guess I end up using very, very dark pastels to do that.
Right. So the point is try using the marker. You can get rid of the marker when you want to. And notice now I'm going over every area and I'm kind of, I'm looking for variations within the areas as well. And what is that mark making? It's a little bit lighter here. In some cases, I'm leaving the yellow because I think it really works. Down here, I might.
And you're using just a plain black marker?
Yep.
It doesn't have to be thick or anything.
I mean, I'm using a Sharpie, so it's a little bit thick. Yeah. But no, it doesn't have to be particularly thick. And then you see I'm going over. What's nice about pastels is you can go over, you can do a lot of like kind of variation stuff here. I'm kind of adding in, I'm getting kind of boring with my front here. In fact, I probably need to go over with more white because there's more white here, right? Once again, look at how I'm focusing on my edges. I'm adding stuff in as it interacts with my subject. And that is a very different way of thinking about art and whatever you're drawing. The left brain way of thinking about the drawing is thinking about what it is you're working on. Is thinking, Now I'm working on the leg. I have to get that perfect. Now I'm working on the head. I've got to get that perfect. Oh my God, I can't get the eyes in the right place. What's wrong with me, right? Like all of that sort of self-talk that happens, that is left brain thinking, and it totally blocks you from being able to problem solve what needs to happen. What I'm telling you is the way to think about your drawing so that you can problem solve. And so we move from area to area, right? And sometimes I'm working on the actual animal. Sometimes I'm working on the area around the animal because I need it. I need to add in this medium to dark so I can see this fur here, my light fur here. And I'm working edges. I'm working where a light edge meets a dark edge. That is where I'm going. That's where I'm going first. And I'm working the major edges. Notice I've barely gone into the face at all. I'm really working these areas before I start going into the face. I might be ready to go into the face now. In that particular case, I'm going to need to go to the, and that, thank you very much. Coffee just came to me. I'm so lucky. Thank you, my dear. So if you can see, I'm not really thinking about the thing I'm drawing. I'm more thinking about the dark and light shapes and how they are interacting with each other. And each time I'm thinking, is it a hard or a soft edge that I need? How do I get these dark and lights in here? You will find that that is a way easier way of thinking about painting and about drawing, rather than I am drawing this thing and I don't know how to draw eyes, or you know what I mean? Like it's fascinating to me. This is can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Sometimes I turn down my headphones accidentally and then I can't hear you. It gets too quiet. I'm like, oh my God, have I blocked it out?
I can just tell you that basically I'm drawing this thing and I have no bloody idea how to draw a reindeer.
Right. So don't
like
think about the reindeer. Think
last
about
week it was apples instead of coffee, so I don't know what's gonna be. A squirrel.
When we're constructing, we're thinking more like it's better to think of a puzzle, right? When you're putting a puzzle together, that is more of a right brain way of thinking, because the puzzle is like pieces of light and dark, light, medium, dark, soft edge, hard edge, right? Does this edge fit with this one? It's not really, with a puzzle, you can't really tell what anything is. You can only really go by shapes and colors. Right? You can only go by shape and color. That's all you can do. So we're trying to get ourselves to think that way. The moment you okay. Hold on, I'm trying to pull up I want to see what you guys, and please feel free to send stuff through as you're working along. I'm really sorry that I cannot send you a picture of this. I think my camera I think I broke my camera. Yeah, I totally broke my camera. Oh. Okay, this is funny. Look what was going on. Can you guys see this? I have tape across the I was like, what the hell? Like, why is this black edge? All right, I'm going to send a picture of this so you guys can see where it is. Wow, so that was the only problem. Camera, you are awesome. I was like, why is there this dark like line going across the set? I dropped the camera, I broke it. Oh no.
We are always our own worst enemies.
Right? Tell me about it, Diana. Here's the whole thing. So I want you to see how sort of how raggedy it is right now, right? Because I'm not thinking about just the animal. I'm thinking about how the animal kind of sits in space. In the dark and light shapes of the animal are coming through and going over. This will feel, and I guess I want to just once again say, if it feels, if you're like, I don't know, like Anik is talking about now, I don't know what this is going to be. What's going on? I have no idea, right? That's probably better than, oh, I think I got this. You're probably not going to have as much success as if you're like a little unsure. What happens is after a while, and Diana, what you say is right, it takes years really to develop this sense of things as shapes and lights and darks, and not as things. So
but it comes natural after a while.
It does.
After a while, it's a second nature.
Yeah, it'll become a second nature. You will not believe that you ever didn't think this way. And you will look at the poor suckers that are struggling to try and draw things and paint things without constructing. And you'll be like, how can you do that? That's so much work. It's so much more work. You'll be surprised when it happens to you. And I can tell you this because, as you guys know, I went from not being able to do this at all at 30 to 20 years later, being able to do it a little bit, right? Like being able to do it a bit. So that is the potential squirrel. Yeah. I love it. I actually really love something at this stage. I love it when it's really messy and it hasn't come together yet. I'm kind of looking at it going, and I'm going back to the source, the color source, to get some information that I can't really get off of this, right? Because it's too.
I kind of admire the fact that you have this feeling, because of the fact that I feel completely overwhelmed by
you don't
anxiety.
like just work it pace by. This is what art is. It's dealing with things shape by shape by shape by shape. If you can't hear, I'll take a picture of the painting that I'm working on right now, so you guys can see like how you have to deconstruct. It's almost like you're deconstructing the painting into shapes, and it feels overwhelming because right now this is not looking as finished as I like it. I'll show you in a little bit, actually. Let's see, block 2. I'm sending across the image again just so I can see it and I can see what's happening with his little face. Yeah, so he's got this kind of, I have this up here like this, and I have it sort of in a much, I think he needs to, the light area needs to extend out. There's kind of an upper and a bottom area, and then up here it really is more yellow. Let's see. I feel like I need a really kind of more golden. Now it needs to be lighter. I'm finding myself moving towards, so I'm finding myself adding white, but on top of a kind of brown here. And I've got white up here too, but it's on top of yellow. Let's see. Oh yeah, coming along, Sandra. Try working already, very nice like technique. Try adding in, so I feel a little bit like you're missing the bend here, right? Up.
Oh, okay.
Of his, and so you can sort of take your light and push it up there and bring that dark up there, but also start putting in your background now so that you can see how it interacts with your actual animal. And notice this is the point that I'm getting to the detail. I haven't really got to the face until now. I'm not even starting to get there. I'm still kind of
just
working.
the end of painting, but
yeah. And I can see it's a little bit, there's a little bit of a medium in here before the, so you see now I'm in this position of being able to, and there is a strong line under here, right? Where this is here, that's there to kind of show the edge of the face. I feel like I got my nose a little bit too long. So I'm coming in here to kind of carve out his face. It's a little bit smaller. I don't know how much you guys are able to see or if you're in the middle of doing your thing, which is totally okay. But I figure a lot of this is watching. It's a combination of watching and trying yourself. Now, because I have a lot of oranges in here, I might actually try putting in some blues on top to mix. And then I notice the eye is really dark and there's a tiny white circle around it. So at this point, I might go to a pastel pencil, right, to get some of the features of the eye, because I feel like my pastels, where is my white pastel? I know I have my white pastel here somewhere. Where are you? Where are you? Oh, maybe you're in my watercolor bag. Because I feel like I can't get the sort of mark making that I would like to. So you can take a pastel pencil or a charcoal pencil. Also, both of those things will work really well. So this is what I'm talking about. So I've been telling you to avoid this because our first layers need to be really mucky. I'm sharpening right now. But now I want a little more precision. So in here, right, I'm doing that little outline. I need that in here. And maybe even I need it a little bit up in here and here. I also see as I look closer that it goes from like this kind of dark. So I might actually go in with my dark charcoal pencil here. It's like a little bit, I see that the edge is a little bit harder. So see how I'm going in here and adding a little bit of a contour line and also a little bit of dark up in here, this part of the nose, and then it gets browner. And as usual, as one does, this is too big. So I'm going to go back in, I'm going to take that out and try and find my eye. It's going to be really easy to make your eye too big. Don't do what I just did. So you see, I erased it out and now I'm going back in with my white. I'm trying to make sure there's enough space between the ear.
Really, you guys.
There you go. See how that's starting? So see how as I start to add, these are hard contour lines. Notice what happens as I start to add them in. So Sandra, although I'm really appreciating your working this way, because I know this is kind of different than how you normally think about it. I don't expect to change the way you think about it. I just expect that like you'll find in doing it this way that I will be able to relieve some of the work, the labor that goes into your others.
Yes, it's nice to experiment.
Yeah, and to see like what you already do with less work. That is
right.
my main goal. Is how can I create like less work for you? Okay, so I'm going back in. I'm adding in some orange here. Now I'm going to add in. I'm going to see what happens if I add a little blue in with my orange. I like that. So I'm adding a little bit of blue on top of my orange to create this gray. Because why am I adding blue in with my orange? Why is that working for me?
Because it's the opposite.
Right, composite, like what do you call it?
Complementary
colors, complementary colors, right? And it still needs to get a little lighter, but now I have this nice base upon which Now I can add this nice base so it reads a little bit more gray. So see, now I'm starting to get a little bit more detail in. I can see this sort of bright area is here, and then it becomes kind of bright orangey here. And it's darker. So see, now notice I'm now starting to add more detail looking at the color picture. Got the color picture right here. I've got my pencil in my hand to give the lines when I need them. And but I'm still working edges. That's what I'm doing. I'm still working edges where dark meets light. So for me, and I think you will find as well, this is a much less overwhelming way of having to deal with. It feels overwhelming at first, and then when you realize you don't have to solve every problem, you're just going in and you're solving problems one at a time. Then you're like, all right, and I may need to go in, and I'm noticing I'm struggling with my background here. So my shape here. So I'm actually going to go in with my background and reshape a little bit. So see how I'm kind of coming in here to get that hump, but not too much. So I'm problem solving as I see it, basically, rather than feeling the pressure of having to do every edge. I'm going in with my charcoal pencil here because it's pretty dark, but I'm going to come back here and add a kind of lighter color because that's mostly what's happening. And it's dark here, but it's kind of a medium color here. You can see more of the value. There's more value differentiation once you get into the details. Notice I'm using my charcoal pencil quite a lot at this point. I'm using it more. And this area really needs to be, there's parts that are lighter and parts that are darker, and I really need to showcase that. So I'm going to go back in here and get that light. See how I'm coming back in? So if everything was dark, I wouldn't really be able to get the lights that I needed here. See, now I'm starting to get a little bit more of that brightness. This stays darker. I get that little light up there. Yeah, now that's starting to look a little bit nicer. So it's just a way of working that's more practical to the construction that we're doing. Kind of coming in and adding little bits of light here. I'm really appreciative of having my yellow here. That helps me pop my white much more in the areas it needs to be. This is a little bit, this white belly is a little bit less furry and more. There's a little bit more light in here. Maybe I'll start with my yellow there. So it becomes a meditation almost. This is when painting becomes a meditation, when you're not thinking so much about the final, you're just thinking about the pieces, and you're really not thinking more than one piece at a time. It's kind of fascinating, isn't it? How that can remove, it's really thinking about the whole thing. Oh, now my guy's starting to come out. And as usual, you guys, I'm not practicing these. So I'm as susceptible to mistakes. As you can see, I've got lots of mistakes here. I'm as susceptible to mistakes as you are. I'm expecting mistakes, and I'm expecting I'm going to have to fix them as I go along. I like the kind of feeling of like, oh, here it is. And that's a kind of confidence, I think, that comes in doing this problem solving a lot. Once you get into the zone, you're not really worried because you know how to break things down into pieces and not let them be. Yeah, it's coming along. Now it's looking kind of muddy. I'm going to make it really dark back here, in between here. So like from here to here. Yikes. It's really dark. And now. Starting to look better. Yeah. I'm wanting things to feel, I'm at this point where I want things to feel a little bit more connected and not so disjointed. So I'm kind of bringing in colors that are in other places into my mid-tone areas. Really the only place, dang it, it's dropping. See how sometimes I'm blending and smoothing and sometimes I'm leaving marks like this one that are kind of not being blended in. This needs kind of a hard light edge, the edge of the leg here. Where the legs are meeting the background, it needs a harder edge between the background and the legs. Otherwise, there we go. In areas like here, the edges are softer. Yeah, I'm at this point where I feel like if I do any more, I'm going to overwork this. So it's not that I'm not going to continue working on this, but I'm now going to go in and fill in the background. Now is where I feel like, okay, for me, I got to see this. I've got to work the background in here, see what's happening. Notice in landscapes that as you go further back, you've got a lot of blues that get bluer and kind of more blurry as time goes on. And actually, I'd like my sky to be kind of pink. I have a light pink here. This is when you also start to realize that you don't have enough colors, which is dangerous. Which is this pure on dangerous. I'm not worried so much about the clouds right now. I'm trying to get an edge around my mountains. So I'm using this kind of pinky. I'm trying to get that in, and now I'm adding in different blues and. We're back. Say hey to Mama. Hey to Mama. Okay, good. Where's Mommy? Sorry. Did you just banish the husband? No, I just welcome home, honey. Wonderful. Kind of. And the dog and the cat. And the dog and the cat. Yay. I know. The cat always wants to hang with me too when I'm painting. Never. Oh yeah, cats love painting. They get really kind of drooly excited about it. Animals really love art making because they can sense the change in you. Because animals are so intuitive, they can sense the change in you. They can feel that you're feeling happy. So once again, still looking kind of mucky, right? Murky, but I'm working with lights and mediums and darks. I'm kind of moving around. I might even get a few, definitely have to do something with this background. I like how my orange pastel base is kind of communing with my blue. So this is more what you were asking about, Sandra. I can see that like the colors that I've laid down in the base are having some nice unexpected interactions with what's on top. I'm letting some of that come through.
I've read different things about that. Like, I thought you'd be like best to have like a contrasted color.
Sometimes that's true.
But I've also seen people like a woman I like a lot called Emma Colbert. She's from Northern Ireland. She does animals in pastels. And she's sometimes shown how she has like a beige dog and she took a beige background to the point where you can actually, she uses the background and let it come through.
I think so. There's a nuance that happens, right? Like as you get more adept at being a right brain thinker, right? As you get more adept and understanding how colors work, all of those things can be true, right? Using a beige background can work. In general, I like to start people out with contrasting colors because I feel like that's where you get the most immediate bang for your buck.
Right.
If that makes any sense. Yep. That's where you can see it happen really obviously. But once you get more sophisticated with color, you can start playing around with all of that business. You know, like that's where you start to see, oh, okay, what happens when I do a black background. But I like these beginnings because I feel like there's more impact in the learning process at the beginning. If you work with a beige dog, you could easily get frustrated unless you really know what you're doing.
I tried it and I didn't like it.
Yeah, I think it's something you do later.
And not only that, I think when you talk about longevity, I don't know, but it's a good idea.
Well, I just think it depends on how you do it, right? So
it's just that there's a school of thought that says that there's another British lady I really like called Catherine Inglis.
Mm-hmm.
She does animals as well in pastels, and she says she covers she uses sanded paper, so it's like great.
Yeah, this is what I'm using.
She makes sure she covers everything because she says, I don't know how it's going to age. Whereas the pastel, you know how it's going to age.
Right. The paper, you don't know how it's going to age.
Yeah, but so I tend to agree with that, really.
Right. But I mean, yeah, I mean, like I always think, oh my God, I'd never do this. And then I see somebody doing something that I said I'd never do, and I'm like, and by the way, right now I'm taking a kind of pink, a fuchsia hot medium pink and putting it over and blending it into some of my blues in the background because I'm liking the impact. And with my antlers, I might go in with my pencil. I've actually got a brown, a sort of orangey, a purpley pastel pencil. So I'm going to try using that.
That looks great.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
That really, so you learn, it's more, Sandra, that you learn different tools. The things I try to focus on in our lessons are the things that you wouldn't intuit naturally. And those are the things that block us, right? And those are things like start with big dark shapes first, right? Do that first. Before you do anything else, start with your big dark shapes. Start with the overall drawing and getting your drawing correct. Work with the dark and light areas because that's where you're going to see the most immediate results. I'm going to give you, the tips I'm giving you are things that you wouldn't think of on your own. And from there, then you can start to kind of nuance the beginnings the way you want to. And you'll find ways and you will experiment with ways and you'll think of things that would never occur to me. Right? That's the way I'm teaching you.
Sorry.
This is what I'm encouraging. Gesundheit. This is what I'm trying to encourage here. is like you having tools so that you can, so once you start to understand how like colors interact with each other, then, and how to apply different materials, then your nuances are your own. You know, your thinking is based on thinking like a right brainer, not thinking like a left brainer.
Right.
And that will change everything, you know, like in ways that you wouldn't expect.
Anyway, I'm really enjoying this.
Good. Well, you've been feeling pretty miserable, and I bet it
Oh.
feels great to be back in the saddle.
Yes, to be able to sit in a chair and not fall asleep and have the energy. And I'm beginning to, but you know, it does so many things to your body. Like I was getting a tinnitus in my ears. My digestive tract was messed up from beginning to end. I had very weird taste. My Evian that I've been drinking for 30 years, so that my water tastes the same no matter where I am in the world, tasted like sewer water.
Oh.
I didn't feel like drinking coffee. I still don't. So I wasn't getting enough hydration because I didn't feel like drinking the sewer water.
Hydration anyway.
Sorry?
Yeah. Coffee is dehydrating.
Yes, but I was drinking a lot of milk with a coffee and I stopped it because I suddenly didn't feel like it. But at the same time, it kind of dehydrated me, which is like probably one of the worst things you can do.
Yeah.
But now.
So are they figuring out your treatment, Sandra, so that you're not having these collapses so much?
Well, so this new round I started yesterday is like a different agent. It's called Taxol. It comes from the yew tree.
Oh yeah, Taxol. I know people who have. That's good. That's good.
I had a thriving yew bonsai for a long time, so I'm hoping we're friends. And they told me it's much easier because it's a much lower dose, because now I'm doing it every week.
Right.
So I'll see how it treats me. For now, I don't feel like I've had chemo at all, but they give you a lot of meds to go with it, like anti-nausea, steroids,
right,
Benadryl, which are still in my blood right now. So I think when that wears out, I'll find out a bit more what it's going to do. But it should be much easier from now on.
Good.
And I'm also probably going to stop work because they misinformed me about how much time I could take and whether I would get full salary or not. In fact, I'm allowed 6 months at full salary.
Oh yeah, screw them. Take it.
Yeah.
Then you can come to all the classes. Then you can come to all the classes.
Yeah, you need that to focus on your health.
On your health.
Exactly. I find that the problem with working is that it takes what little energy I have and bandwidth and divert it, and I need it to heal. So
yeah, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You get to, yep, absolutely. That's bullshit. Excuse me. Sorry, Oscar. But some things in life are bullshit.
Yeah.
So you can see how this guy is starting to come out, right? It's in a different,
fantastic, really
it's in a different way than I was thinking, than we were thinking. Now, if I want to, I can go into the sky and I can add some darks in here, right? Clouds have a lot of, the first thing we're going to paint when we get into the acrylic lesson, we're going to practice painting clouds and spheres, because I think they have totally different mark making. You guys are really going to appreciate how this, how the paintbrush works. So once again, for those of you who were late, who may or may not have heard that, we are going to start painting in January. There are supply lists available. Natalia has one. I have one. There's one on the website. I'll send out I'm going to send across the list right now. Here, hold on. I'm going to send across the website, so the website address, so you can find it. Oh, Natalia, that's coming along well. Claudia, lovely. I love how trippy this guy is. The colors are great. Emma, very nice. Kind of dreamy. Emma, if you're struggling to get the darkness that you want, I'm sorry, I totally wasn't even looking at yours. With your antlers, you can spray this area with fixative, and then you go and let it dry and then come back in and you can make your darks darker. So that's the way to kind of deal with, oh, Annika, fun. Get your background in on this side. It's going to help you with the little mouth here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anik, coming around. Don't be afraid of darks, Anik. Push a little bit darker here so that your guy will come forward, right? Like, don't be afraid of that. I love these. You guys are doing great. Sandra, great. Great. So Sandra, just like, I love all these bluescapes. So now if you're feeling like, Sandra, you can't get the lights that you want, you can spray it and then go back over and layer more colors on top, or just spray like the little areas here.
Try not to spray because of cats hunting and me.
Okay,
but,
so don't spray, but like let the
paper that can take a lot of layers. So
yeah, so just keep layering on. Very nice. You guys
this
are doing
was just
great.
the end of painting, so now I'm.
Oh, Diana, this is coming along. Diana's just cruising through her stuff.
Yeah, I'm just at sketch stages with both of them though.
Yeah. It's great. It's great to see. You're really helping me show color. Emma, I really love the colors that you picked for this guy. I really enjoy them. I like also that your background is a little bit weird. I would say his face extends out further, like this white of his face is kind of like, so I did white for the face and then I went over with a charcoal pencil. Can you see this here? Around the outer edge of the white, so that the white will really show up against the dark. So you can do that. You can push that. And I love the mountains. Oh, that's funny. Oh, Natalia, just gorgeous. I love seeing, can you guys start to see how voice, yeah, Natalia, coming along.
Thank you.
He feels a little, I'm just trying to think of, he feels a little, do a little bit more blending up here and in here.
Okay.
Like you've kind of lost your medium up here. So really try to like you've got these white lines, but really he's mostly kind of a light medium here, blending into this light. And you have more spots, right? You've got more areas that are light, areas that are dark, and not these transitions. This is a calmer.
Yeah, it went a bit overboard, maybe.
Yeah. It's easy to get overboard with your lights. This is a calmer area. We also noticed that we need calmer areas along with our darker areas to like, right? So that if everything's equally like this, it's hard for the viewer to decide what is important. So what you are doing as a painter is deciding what you're going to highlight and what you're going to push back, right? What are you highlighting? What are you pushing to the background? And that is absolutely, so having sort of right here, I want this to come forward. So there's strong contour lines, there's strong contrast. Here, I want this area to push back a little bit. So there's less color and more kind of neutral medium. I'm really focusing on this transition here. We're here, from here to here.
Yeah.
So it's easy to get too crazy though with the
yes, it's very tempting, and so
it's totally I know, and then you're like, damn it, there's too many of these. Let me take a picture of this since I now can. Let's see here. I'm going to take a picture of mine so you can see where this got to. Oh, camera, I've never appreciated you so much. Okay, I'll probably work on it a little bit more. Hold on, sending this over. Very nice. So we're going to be doing, so make sure you guys, oh yeah, right. And I was going to, oh, Linda, starting to come along nicely. Linda, a little bit too exaggerated, this bend right here. So look at that shape and see what's really, this is, I think what's odd about this is that he's very long and stretched out. So really pay attention to that shape. But very nice. And Linda, do you see how the background helps support some of those basic colors? Do you see how having that background there helps bring this forward? It gives you like a little bit more.
Yeah. I think I put the forward legs too much behind.
Well, look at the shape. Look at the shape of that. It's basically one head from here to here. So from here to here, if you line it up, and also look at the shape of them. There, you have them straight, and really, there's like kind of a triangle here. So look at shapes. It's all about shapes. The moment you say, I put the legs too far back here, you've brought yourself out of right brain and into left. That's not the way to think about this. The way to think about this is how much I've defined my head, how far away is my head from my legs, and then what are the shapes here that I'm missing? Yep. It's hard. It's hard not to want to pop right back and forth. Needy. All right, Needy. Let's see here. I think you need to get.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Seeing you.
Great work. Great work. So Needy, one of the things I think you need to, we definitely have to work on your drawing. I think that's a lot of it. I like some of the blending. I'd like to see you get in some color around the edge. I want you to get this field in. So in just some color that's darker, right? That makes your lights kind of come out. Get this color in to help you start to shape what's actually happening here. I think that's going to help a lot. Face. Wow, Annika. So it's a little, I like how you're pushing these notes. This one up here, I think this line up here is a little too strong.
Okay.
You see how it's competing? Do you see how it's competing with this? And so we really have to be careful and pay attention to these shapes here. There's more of an arch. This is the belly. This is really the belly kind of arching up.
Okay.
Like that. And then, yeah, so really watch. You've got a lot of strong, dark, like heavy lines there. And they are, and so you'll notice your animal is not coming forward as a cohesive piece. If you're going to use contour lines anywhere, use them around the edge of the whole animal. Don't use them inside as much. Nice, Linda. Great work. Great work, you guys. You're doing great. You'll continue working on this. Here, I'll take a picture of what I'm working on now so you can see how construction starts. I'm working on a very complex city scene. Hang on. So the first picture I'll send you is the photograph I'm working from with some construction lines drawn on it. And the second one is where the painting sketch is right now. So this is what I'm working on. This is where I want to head. But look at and look at how much detail there is there. It can just get completely overwhelming. Very nice, Anya.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful lines. But look at where
it's a bit blurry. I don't know. Maybe it's because of the paper. Because I couldn't find it.
No, I'll say I have some suggestions for you. Hold on. I'm going to send this out. And then this is where this painting starts. So if you can see it, very simple, just kind of light and darks, not lots of detail, more the overall shapes. I would say, do you have a charcoal pencil?
Yeah.
All right, so
No,
go over.
I have just charcoal.
Charcoal.
Like,
all right, so if you can make a very sharp charcoal point, like break your charcoal so you can do a very sharp pencil point, you want to go in here and do some shaping of your outer areas. Down in here, a little bit here, not too much. Notice I'm not drawing a straight line down, and then maybe here around the edge, so that like your edges, you're deciding where your sharp edges are. See how going around the edge like that really helps kind of push that forward a little bit.
yeah.
So try and do that in some areas, not all the areas. There you go. But it's outer areas. You don't really want it in the inside areas that much, maybe a little here. But it's very strong. Look at how I put that line in, and it just draws your attention. So you want it in a few areas where there are some pretty solid transitions between light and dark and outer shapes. Actually, that looks kind of nice. I did a little light edge. That actually helped.
Yeah.
Helps a bit, doesn't it?
In some places I have so much pasta that even this charcoal, it's not really.
Yeah,
bright.
so you can maybe brush off a little bit. You can use your toothbrush to brush off a little bit of the charcoal, right? Or a little bit of the pastel, so you can get some layers in there. You can take your toothbrush and come in and like scrub out a little bit.
But it helps with the face a lot.
It does. So you're going to learn, where do I need a strong contour line? Where do I not? This is where we start to learn that. I don't need it. And it is generally when you want some, when things feel too soft, you're going to be coming in here. There's a technique we use with the paintbrush where you outline something and then you paint right up to the edge of it. And you feel like you get rid of the line, like you can't see the line, but the line is still there structurally. Anik, now we're coming along. Notice, Anik, that there's a transition here from dark to medium to light. So that's where you start to pay attention to those things, right?
Yep.
This may take a little bit longer. That's nice. I like it. It has a very like, it has a kind of, and don't take this the wrong way. If I use the word, it kind of reminds me of like one of the ancient cave drawings. It has a kind of beautiful primitivism. My great aunt was an amazing painter, Olive Rush, and here, let's see if I can find there. I'll show you what some of her later work looked like. It's reminding me a little of this. Where did I send it? Sunday? No, I think it was block 3. I took pictures. Yeah.
You know, I actually feel like those guys, like thousands of years ago, you know, with ochre.
I love this kind of painting, primitive.
Right? Yeah. That primitive. Here, let me show you. So let me show you some of
that.
I'm going to show you some of my aunt's work because it's astonishing. It's actually astonishing how simple and elegant. My aunt was a Quaker as well as a painter. So check this out. This is from one of her very late. She was a very accomplished painter. So before I say anything else, I'm like, oh my God, let's see. Here. Why aren't you? There we go. I'm going to forward this to block 2. Check these out. Look at all these. Aren't they wonderful?
Hi.
Yeah, right, Linda? Beautiful.
Oh, wow.
My great great aunt was an amazing painter. She was one of
not
the
very primitive. That's
it's
pretty
very
good.
but they look primitive. Yes, she's very skilled. She was very skilled at that point.
Yes, but not very primitive. Pretty fantastic.
Yes, but simple, right? Kind of flat. There's a flatness to them, and there's a. So my great aunt's name is Olive Rush. You can look her up. She was a painter.
Right.
She lived in Santa Fe. At the same, she moved there the same year that Georgia O'Keeffe did. They were friends. They actually shared a cat named Anselmo, which went back and forth depending on who was in New York trying to promote their work at whatever time. And Olive, my Aunt Olive, really, she was a Quaker. So her later work really expressed what I think of as a kind of Quaker, a very simple elegance that comes. I don't know if you guys know about Quakerism, but in Quakerism, like the congregate, there's no leader of the congregation. People sit in silent meditation for an hour each week. And occasionally somebody will get up and speak if they feel like they want to share something with the group, but they don't need to. It's mostly quiet. My aunt had that. Her house was the meeting house as well as her studio. So it was really, I feel like that really crept into her work later on, that simplistic. That's what I was thinking, Ani, because I was looking at your piece.
Thank you. I really feel honored, honestly saying.
Oh, Sandra, there we go. Now, oh, I love this. So Sandra, I think there's something for you in this technique. I really do. Yeah, I think there is. I mean, you'll want to do a little bit of lighter layering up here. You know what I mean? Make this a little
Great, Sandra.
Work with these areas, but I feel like this works. I feel like this could add something to your technique if you could somehow incorporate some of these principles in.
This is so beautiful, Sandra.
It's really gorgeous.
Thank you. I still feel a bit awkward with the felt tip pen, but it's nice because it's much faster than what I do. What I do takes 10 hours, so this is definitely a step forward for having fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go and eat breakfast now. I'm starving.
Oh my God, it's 10, right.
It's
It's absolutely time to quit. All right, so hold on. Let me pull remove the spotlight. Let's go into gallery view so we can see everybody.
Yeah.
Say hello. Anuja! Hi, honey.
Hi.
We can't
I've been here for 5 minutes. Hi, everybody. Hi, Sandra. How are you doing?
We can't wait until you get back. So
I just logged off from work and I looked up your aunt. You were talking about your aunt, so I looked up. She has a Wikipedia page to her.
Yes. Yo, she was pretty, well, you know, like a lot of women artists, she is forgotten after, like when she was during her life, she was celebrated as an artist. The moment she died, no room for her in the museums, no room for her anywhere, right? But she's pretty phenomenal. She was a pretty phenomenal woman. So next week I do. Oh, that's not. I did a portrait of her actually in charcoal. In the other room, I'll send it over a picture to you. So next week we will be doing waves in pastel. My student teacher 3 will be.
I'm gonna try this, the reindeer.
Yeah, and please do. Please try it.
Please upload it sometime.
It's all on the thread which you're on.
Oh yeah, okay.
I'll upload the YouTube. It takes about an hour or two. I'll upload it.
Whenever.
The next, yeah.
It's good to see everybody.
It's good. We really miss you. We're happy. Linda came back, and you came back, and Sandra's back. We are so happy to see you guys. You have no idea. It's very important that we all get here.
I should be back for classes in January. So
excellent. So everybody start thinking about what you want to do for painting. Do you want to be doing just acrylic? Do you want to be doing just oil? Do you want to do both? In that case, if you'll see there's some repetition in the oil and acrylic painting, supply list. So you can use certain things you can use for both. However, what you cannot use for both is brushes and paint, right? So you need to have separate brushes for oil and separate brushes for acrylic, although they can be the same type of brushes. Once you use it for oil, you cannot use it for acrylic. We will talk about
This is
why.
a very expensive hobby.
It is an expensive hobby. I'm sorry.
I'm collecting supplies and I'm not even drawing.
And we want to make sure that all of our colleagues, no matter what their money is, that they have something to do. So people can do every lesson with pencil and paper. If that's what they've got, we will have the dark, right? We will have this available at the beginning of class. So anybody, so as you coordinators are telling people what is available to them, make sure to tell people you don't have to do what the lesson is, or you can do the same lesson you can do in drawing as well as in painting. But I'm excited to take you guys to painting. I think it's going to blow your minds. I think painting is going to blow your mind. If you think drawing has blown your mind, painting is going to really blow your mind.
Okay.
All right, you guys, I love you. Great to see everybody. And this will be up in the next couple hours.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much, Leah.
Good to see you. We're so happy to see you. So great.
Nice to see you guys.
All right, you guys, take care. Bye.